In this video you're about to watch, I went to the southern goes towards McDonough tour. And had an excellent time, and I took you guys along with me. Enjoy the video.
Longer exists. Yeah. Now, with our courthouses, you're probably wondering, did we have hangings? Yes, we did. And it was this area back here with our first courthouses. This area right here was known as gallows field. Prisoners would be processed over there, and then they would bring them here to be hung. Unfortunately, there would be times where there wasn't enough nooses for the people that had committed crimes. So instead, they decided to do something a little more barbaric from our point of view. They would actually climb to the top of the bell towers of the courthouse and hang the victims there. Put the nooses on and pretty much just kick it off. But unfortunately, some people didn't realize that when it comes to hangings, sometimes you don't die immediately. They think because your neck breaks, that means you're dead. That scares me.
Me too.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you would sometimes choke to death for minutes as you watch just everything else around you kind of slowly black out. So, gruesome story, but just a quick history on our courthouses. If you guys want to follow me, we're going to make our way over to the Polk Museum. Yeah, nobody does not, the managers, the owners do not like to stay in here at all. They do not. Now, before I get to why, it was more than just postal office. It was actually the juvenile detention area as well. And they would actually hold them downstairs, not on the second floor. There's another floor that goes down. And of course, when you have prisoners kind of confined in one area by themselves, there's no telling what kind of atrocities can be done when they're unattended, because no one's going to jump in, no one's going to save you, because you're not worth it. And the cool thing is, there's actually a tunnel underneath the third floor, on the third floor, excuse me. It actually goes all the way to the courthouse area. It was their way of transporting prisoners because they were afraid if they had them out in the open, that anything could happen. They could make a break for it, or someone would try to hit that said prisoner that caused them, some kind of grief. So they decided to have that tunnel to transport them back and forth. Now, we actually had people that started the ghost tours before us. They had there was actually women that actually had the ghost tours before we have them today. They kind of gave us the ability to run when they started to walk, so to speak. They came here because they heard about all the stuff that was happening in this building. And also they mentioned to the owner, can we please go to the basement? And he kept saying, I do not want to go to the basement, that's the third floor, it's the fog. And they kept asking him, and he finally broke and said, why? He said, because every time he has gone to that third floor, he is either bitten or he is scratched by some unseen force on the third floor. And our boss, Tara, actually came here to get the information about the history of McDonough and all that, and she found out about the basement. She wanted to go down there, and she didn't go all the way down there, she just kind of went down there and when she came out, yeah, a lot of new stuff. And also, a few weeks ago, I had someone on my floor admitted that they did some juvenile stuff in their day, and they actually still use this building for the detention of juveniles. But it was more of like a group session type thing. And every time they would go to the third floor, they said it got very cold unexpectedly, and the lights would flicker a lot down there as well. Yeah, really creepy stuff. You got any other stuff you want to add on for it? Okay, good. Callie's got some interesting information, and I always check in with her because she knows some of the history stuff that I kind of miss from time to time. But yeah, down there was a lot of creepy stuff. The lights are on now, and I don't know why they're on. We've been pondering about that.
They put some very weird, some secret society stuff going on there. People coming in and out, but if you go turn on the door, it's locked. I mean, there's nobody supposed to be in there. The other person who was in there was What's up?
Do they still use it as a museum?
Nope, it's closed.
Oh.
We have no clue what they're gonna do.
We don't either. I mean, like, we still talk about getting keys to this place for an overnight investigation. Is a little more interactive than our platform.
Yeah, exactly.
It was open for a little bit. I came here when it was open, but yeah. But it wasn't a long museum or anything like that.
Why not? You guys will come with me. I'm going to show y'all something. What'd you say? Significant man because he was a journalist during World War I, but he was a journalist moving pictures. And I say moving pictures, I'm talking about like silent film type stuff. This is like before sounds even thought of. And it was revolutionary because he was showing both the victories of war and the atrocities of war. Now, when the war had ended, he finally had to decide, okay, I got to come home. What do I need to do? I need to find out a way to, make a living for myself. And he had the ingenious idea: take his moving pictures on the road. A traveling circus type thing. Step right up, see yourself on moving pictures. And he would take, pictures of the town, and then he would show it to people. And they weren't like very long either. They may have been like at the most like 4 or 5 seconds. But people would get in line to see this. And it would be the simplest things, from people walking to waving to, probably my favorite one of people talking about sneezing. They would make themselves sneeze. Yes, it's crazy. They would make themselves sneeze for moving pictures, and people loved it. Now, Clay Harris may have been a really good businessman, but he was not the best family man. He was married, but he didn't want to get tied down because he wanted to still do his, his traveling pictures and all that stuff, because if he didn't, he felt like he was going to get, lose something. So he continued to do his whole thing, but still support his family, but his wife needed him to stay home, so instead she decided to open up a dance studio here in McDonough and kind of get some money that would be right there with them, very steady revenue. Unfortunately, she passed away at the age of 36 due to kidney failure, and Clay Harris had to come home. He had to come home. He had a daughter to take care of, but he had to come up with another idea on how to get his moving picture business to prosper even more. So he came up with another idea. Clay Plaza, McDonough's very first movie theater, and it was a big hit. People loved it. Concessions. There's even a honeymoon suite up at the top that I was pointing at that open window that has never opened, which either tells me, something opened it, or there's people in there opening up windows now. But it was a huge success. People loved it. And this was when sound was becoming popular in film too. So he had a whole way of making money to bring people in. He would even show the film Gone with the Wind at the end of the summer for children, because they had to do a report on the history of Georgia, and what better way to show the history of Georgia than show them Gone with the Wind. Now, E.P. Clay Harris had a hobby just like good old James Buchanan Dixon, except he didn't travel. His was a lot more dangerous. He liked Ouija boards. He had many seances in this building. Many. And he would have seances with various people around the square of McDonough. Big people, from the courthouse to who knows where else. However, was it in the intent to summon something demonic? No. He thought it was a fun little parlor trick to show to people as if they were talking to their dead relatives, because they believed they were. And if you don't know how dangerous Ouija boards can be, they're like doors. You can knock on that door, but you can't cross the threshold. All you know is that there's someone on the other side of that door, and they're shaking your hand, they're talking to you, they're telling you whoever it is that you want them to be, but you don't see them. That's how dangerous these things can be. Now, on his deathbed, E.P. Clay Harris had told his daughter how to use the Ouija board to contact him in the afterlife, and she believed him. She decided to use it after he had passed on and said that he was there. Now, as I had mentioned before on our ghost tours, we had someone before us that really paved way for the ghost tours. Her name was Shannon Ashbury. Shannon actually owned a shop behind the Teased and Tangled that was called the Bell Book and Candle. And when I take you guys back to the ghost tour area, our ghost tour house, when everyone wants to go home, we actually have one of her original shirts from her investigations called the Bell Book and Candle. She actually owns a bookshop over in downtown Hampton. Now, she had her own encounters at her store, from footsteps appearing out of nowhere that looked like wet children's feet going into dark parts, to even crazy stuff happening around her religious section of her shop, ironically. Now, when this had happened, she decided, you guys try to turn it here? No, you're not, okay. I thought I saw a blinker. Now, when Shannon got some history about what was happening here, she was already fascinated with the paranormal stuff. So she decided to get a team together and do an overnight investigation to this place, right here. Now, it was a small team, but it was big enough to get the job done. Now, they were getting ready to get this overnight investigation done because it was raining really, really bad, and they were very worried that their sound was going to be contaminated by all the rain that was happening outside of the building, because it was like one of those really bad storms where you can't even hear yourself think. And when you hear the thunder strike and all that stuff, you just feel that everything shake around you. Now, as they were getting ready, it was starting to get around, 2 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's within arm's reach, but they're just like, off doing their own thing. Shannon's sitting down. She's wearing flip-flops, kind of similar to what you two have on. And then all of a sudden, she feels something tickle her foot. She decides to shine the flashlight on her foot, and what she sees is a huge palmetto cockroach crawling on her foot. And I'm not talking about, these are the ones that fly. These are the ones that fly. Because everybody's tough until the road starts flying. That's the saying. The moment that happened, she kicked it off her foot, but as if she had opened the gates to something, every crevice, roaches were pouring out. They were falling on everybody too from there. Yeah, they're making your skin fall. Like they weren't biting them, but it felt like they were biting them because everyone was like, they're crawling everywhere. They finally said, screw it, who cares about this building? Let's get out. So the team, as they're like swatting roaches off and making their way out, they burst out the front of this building, but then they noticed something immediately. There was no rain. They looked at the pavement and everything was dry around them. But here's the second thing. Where did the roaches go? The team noticed that the roaches were completely gone. They even went back inside. Not a roach in sight. They thought this was, too good to be true, so they went back to their footage. They didn't hear the rain, nor did they see any roaches on any of these people with their footage. All that they saw were just a bunch of grown people smacking themselves and talking very loudly because they thought the rain was happening. Now, Shannon was very fascinated by this, and they managed to get like a medium to come by and do an assessment on what was going on in here. The medium went in, and about an hour later, she comes out, and the woman looks like she just had to battle for her life. They asked her what had happened, and the medium said that she had sensed over 37 demonic presences in this building. Yeah, wow is right. I know it's creepy, but the story doesn't end there. 2005 again. Remax owns this building now, but back then Remax owned it as well. They would always tell their employees, you do not want to stay in this building after dark. Because they say, we got some haunting stuff, we got some stuff that'll happen in this building. One woman decides to throw caution to the wind and decides to stay a little bit after hours before the weekend hits to get some work done. She does, and it's not about this dark, it's like pitch black dark. She tries to make her way to the door, but when she walks to the door, you know how doors jiggle? When she got to the door, it didn't even jiggle. It was as if something was holding the door from letting her open it. So she begins to get freaked out because she feels like she's trapped in this building. And on top of that, the lights begin to flicker around her as she's trying to get out of this building. She's trying to call her husband. He can't understand her on the phone, tries to call the cops. They can't understand her on the phone. She's on the verge of like passing out from fright because the lights go out completely around her and she's in pitch black darkness. But then a couple seconds and the door opens up. It just opens up casually and lets her out. She pulls it out of there. Now, that door is actually this door right over here. That little rainbow painted door. If anyone wants to go near it, you can. I'm not. Because I don't like this building. Now, on top of all that's happened there, here's what's happened to me at this place. A year ago, when our investigations first started, along with our ghost tours, they brought with them a spirit box, which picks up it scans through like radio waves real fast to pick out certain voices. And you usually know when a voice is about to come through because it gives like a very small pause in like the spirit box radio session versus, you know, what you would normally hear going through like radios. It's a pause. That happened here, and they got 2 answers from the spirit box. What did he ask it? I'm not sure. But one of the answers was Ruth from the spirit box. But it's the second phrase that gets me. It was a phrase that said stab you, clear as day, on that spirit box. Now, he got that response from that staircase up there. Not this one that I'm pointing at, but the one above it. It's the higher up one. That's where he had the spirit box. Now, when I told that story, there was a patron on the tours that the moment I said that, he immediately grabbed his chest and he hunkered over. I thought he was going into cardiac arrest, so panic started setting for me. But then I asked him, "Are you okay, sir? Are you feeling lightheaded?" He goes, "No, it feels like something just like pinched into me." When he lifted up his shirt, you could see a spot on him from like something like digging in, and it was like a little swollen too. He's hunkered down. He's sitting over here on the curb. He's about like, you know, roll over. He's like, "I'm about to throw up. I feel so bad." But like about 3 minutes later, he just gets up and he's like, "I feel fine now." We even looked at the spot where it was at. It was gone. He was walking. Oh God, I'm glad. I wasn't paying attention, and then all of a sudden I turned and I just see a human being just kind of emerge from the darkness. God. Well, the best part is y'all could have said, "What human being?" Literally could have said that. And I would have been like,
We're so slow.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm done. No, but from that top staircase back there, what made that so significant about that one patron, because it didn't pick on anybody else, just that one person. We grew up in segregation here in the South, the Jim Crow laws. This section that was up here was the colored entrance, where the front entrance was the white entrance. Now, the reason I say that is because when we walked by that staircase, the man that grabbed himself was an African-American man. I wish I could make this up, because they told me that after that had happened, and I was like, no way. And they also mentioned that there was some kind of violence that did happen near that staircase, from brutal stabbings to even shootings. But let me take you to the certain spot of Clay Plaza where I really had something bad happen.
Can I hijack your tour real quick?
Sure.
Tara told me to add this to.
Oh yeah, see what I mean? She's awesome.
Come this way.
Where are we going? This way isn't a direction or a location. It just says this way.
Making street tacos.
What the crap? This is on the back side of Clay Plaza. And this is going on right now. What? That crop top right there that's moving, it's not in, it's not near a vent.
Both of them are moving. Like, interesting.
This is, oh, did you move it?
Yes. Like I said, you never know what you're going to catch sometimes.
Hi, Oscar.
You got to see some stuff. Because the vent's right here where the tassels are moving. There is no vent over there where there's clothes are. I know, it's really creepy. Oscar's probably very happy to see some of us right now.
That is moving very violently.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not in there. I'm glad we're not in there.
Just yell at me if I get right away.
I usually don't see Oscar.
Pull some boards out, change it out wood. And I heard, and I was here by myself, and I heard someone say, "Sylvia." I was like, "Well, that feeds outside to the hall, to the alleyway." And I was like, "Okay, Sylvia." Well, first of all, I'm not Sylvia. Whoever tried to call this is not Sylvia. So I looked out the back to make sure there was, and I'm the late one here. Everybody else is closing the square by 11. I'm not. I'm here till midnight on Saturday. So I thought, okay, came back in here. Sylvia, did you not hear me? Okay. All right, I'll leave the wood till later, and I'll see you. I'm not afraid of anything, but This one was wanting to get my attention, so yeah. That door right there is concrete shut, nailed shut, and it's got a lock. There's about that much space between this building and the other building. Makes you wonder what's in between those walls.
Yeah.
On the other side of Summer Restoration, they're also concrete shut. Makes you wonder what's in between the two buildings that was up here. As you can tell, this is very old. It's been layered upon layered. But this used to be a Radio Shack, for those of you who are old enough to know what a Radio Shack is. For 20 years. And the owner of Radio Shack passed away. His family visited us about a year ago. I said, I have a question, because our first holiday party we had when we opened up Max Country, I had a lady from the bank, what was Heritage Bank is now the First Bank, and she was standing watching her co-workers put out, and she was shoved pretty hard. She hasn't been back since. And every time I go see her at the bank, she's like, I'm not coming to your place. Okay. I was like, okay. So I asked the wife, I said, by chance, where did your husband stand when he was accepting TVs and radios and new things? She showed me the exact spot that she was standing when she was pushed. So he probably told her to get out of the way. Who knows? No, she was not. That's Sylvia. Now the other night, I'm here by myself a lot. I can see my shadow or my reflection in the glass as I'm turning off all the projectors, and I saw someone walk directly behind me, and I thought, okay, let's go. We're out of here. We're going now. We're leaving. So anyway, there's some good stories in here. When we've had people, y'all's group, that come into the tour, she left and she had a little handprint right here. I was like, okay, she was touched.
Yeah.
So, y'all have a nice time in here.
Okay.
So, this is actually where, I don't know if y'all can hear James or not. This is where one of the girls on our tour got grabbed. And James does have a picture, well actually he has a picture of the lady who
Not got
husband
grabbed.
passed away. And she took a picture here at the same lane where her husband got grabbed.
You can clearly
And you
see
can see
what it looks like.
legs in the picture. Her husband died today.
That's creepy.
Oh.
See what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, if you want to take that picture real quick,
So,
share it with everybody. No, I'm not.
Mine and James' relationship really bonded here when
Yeah,
we
y'all can
took
see
what I
it.
call our bachelorette tour.
And
a bunch of
that
girls
was
who were
the
at a party
VIP section of his
together.
house.
And I was standing against this pole right here with my arm up. Kind of past here is not much safe because I'm not that tall. But there's something black that shot over me and went around James. And one of the girls on the tour saw it as it was happening. And of course James saw it and I saw it because it went around us.
Well, the thing is, we all kind of looked up like dogs, just like.
And then it came back again on this last tour and got around James, so it really, really likes us. We don't know what it is. I don't like it because it's so taller than I am.
Oh yeah, and the creepy thing is, it's not like a floater when you get in your eye sometimes. No, this was like something that was just kind of like black out of nowhere. And then Callie saw me. I didn't freak out too much, but I was just kind of like this, just watching it. And everyone's thinking like I'm tweaking out or something about to say, no, it went, it's gone. But no, yeah, with that photo, that was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's that picture.
Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. One of the things that happened while at Southern Ghost Tours McDonough Ghost Tour is, so we were at, this was one of the locations I did not film at. Well, I did, but the sound got messed up, so I wasn't able to use it. So, and I did that, and that happened with a lot of locations. But it's okay, because, like, it gives you guys the opportunity to go experience the tour for yourself and give the Southern Ghost Tours money, because, yeah, you have to pay to go. But, one of the cool things that happened was at the Dickens house. We had one of these. If you didn't know what this is a K2 meter. It shows a K2 EMF, electric magnetic field meter. So, like, it shows, like, see right now I have it turned on and close to my phone, so, you know, it's going off, or it was. And it goes off when you put it in your computers. Turn this back off. It goes off when you put it in your computers, or when you when a entity, spirit, whatever you want to call it, comes near. And we were actually walking with it on the whole entire time. And while we were leaving the Dickens house, he had the tour guide just got done telling a story about how there's like artifacts like hidden or that were dug, buried around the whole property, and they think they were taken up, but they think there's still some, and that's why the property is so haunted. Well, we were, and one of the people that died there and is still there is, her name, I can't remember actually, but well, we think we were being followed because when we were leaving, we were holding this out. We weren't near any phones or anything, and it was going off. And it had no reason to, except, a ghost was touching it and stuff. And I told it, hey, you're not allowed to follow us. Don't follow us. Go back home. And right when I said that, you guys, it stopped. Like, it wasn't following us anymore. And my dad was like, I wish you wouldn't have done that. Like, it could have been good content for you guys. Or, because he doesn't really think ghosts are real or anything like that. So, it would have been, like, it would have showed him, hey, this stuff is real. But I think just because when I said it right then, it left, I think that should be good enough. But, whatever. But it definitely would have been good content for you guys. And I wish I would have videoed it. Because that, like, well, I didn't vlog any while we were walking just because it was the McDonough Square. And if you guys know, the McDonough Square has a lot of traffic. And you gotta be fast on your feet. And so I didn't want to vlog the walking around. And so I only vlogged when we were at specific locations. Or at locations. Because I vlogged at all the locations pretty much. And it was just a great time thing. I will put the link for both the Conyers location and the McDonough location up here in case you guys want to go and schedule a tour for yourself. You can do group, like, public tours, or one just your group. They also offer mystery dinner and all that mess. We did get free merch. It was super cool. I walked in, like, so happy and so in it to be there. And one of the ladies that owns the boutique, actually gave me merch. And they were just so awesome. They do have parking at the McDonough location. They have parking around back. I should preface that, and because obviously you guys, they might not have parking at the Conyers location. So I don't know. I haven't been there. But for the McDonough location, it's around back of the Globe Hotel, which is where they meet up and they wait for you guys. So, like, I know with a ghost tour that I went on before, it was you parked and you gotta go. 'Cause one time me and my dad went and we walked up and the tour was already leaving. So that doesn't happen here though. And they go your pace. So and if you get the tour guide that we got, the tour guide actually make sure no cars hit you. Which, whatever. But yeah, go check them out. Southern Ghost Tours. McDonough or Conyers. Go check them out. And who knows? You do get, you might get haunted. Not really, but you might have experiences there. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below. Comment what you guys want to see next. Because I'm going to try to upload more often. Subscribe. Click the bell notification to be notified whenever I upload. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.